Hi YouTube. I'm going to share this video out really quickly and then let's get started. How's everyone doing today? Let's get started. How's everyone doing? Okay, sorry about that. Welcome in people. Today I wanted to do something special as we've reached 34,000 subscribers and I wanted to use this opportunity to do a Q&A style video about the law of attraction and what it feels like to be living life after bliss, living in a state of extreme bliss and gratitude every single day. So that's the topic for today. I have a few things I want to say before we get started, but let me share this out. For those of you guys that are watching this in the replay and annoyed maybe that there's like a lag before it starts, as I always recommend in my private workshops and intensives, use this time to get your energy and your attention back into your body so that you can be more receptive to receive this information. A lot of times our energy and our focus is kind of dispersed in many different areas, and that makes us not receptive. So if you guys are watching live, let me know in the chat box right now or in the comments if you're watching later how you're doing, and we'll get started in a few minutes. At any point, if you have questions popping up, I'm only taking questions regarding manifestation and the law of attraction today. You can put those in the chat or in the comments area. And I did get some questions on Facebook and Instagram, which I will be addressing. All right, let's do this. Okay. Awesome. So before I begin answering questions, I want to say that I have been actively practicing the law of attraction in my life for 13 to 14 years. And it wasn't until recently that I've given it thought about how to be able to teach other people or share it. I have done other videos in the past of just kind of sharing along my journey, but one thing that I'm really aware of, and I've seen this in other studies, especially in relationships where people, researchers have found that what couples actually do to increase their success in marriage and their happiness is very different than what advice they give. So, for example, one thing that comes to mind is that there was a study done where couples were like highly successful married couples, like blissfully happy, were giving advice to younger couples at church, and they were giving the advice that don't go to bed angry. However, when their actual life was studied, it was found that they often did go to bed angry. They didn't resolve every argument. So I'm using that as an example to tell you that I'm very aware of the fact that sometimes we have this natural tendency to give a certain advice, but it's not what you actually may have been doing. So I have been giving this a lot of thought recently, especially because I have a new program coming up in intensive in September where I will be teaching like really hardcore, in-depth the law of attraction and manifesting and all that yummy stuff, as well as in the August intensive that we have in Florida live. So the advice that I'm going to give you here today in answering your questions will be based on what I have done in my own journey, or based on, and then kind of being able to relate that to your circumstances. So just keep that in mind, that I'm aware that sometimes people give advice, but then if you watch their life, like that's not necessarily what they've been doing. So teaching something is very different than actually living it. Those are two different skill sets, and I believe I'm pretty good at both of them. Let's get a take on what's happening with you guys. Hi, Alexa. Hi, hello, lover. Uh, I guess this is FaceTime for us today. Good morning. Okay, so I got a lot of questions. Alexa got triggered. Okay, let me go into my Facebook group because a lot of questions came in there, and then I'll go to Instagram. Okay. Actually, let me go to Instagram first. And meanwhile, if you have questions coming up for yourself, go ahead and post them. Someone asked, how can I create a life after bliss while having toxic people in your life or holding on old grudges, especially when they are family members? Okay, so first let me define what I mean by life after bliss. Life after bliss is when you've already achieved, like done, you're over all of that. So you cannot achieve life after bliss where you're also dragging along your old patterns and habits and people with you. So what, you're not going to go from holding grudges and toxic people to life after bliss. That's like saying there's 30 stairs here, and I'm trying to get from being on the ground to the 30th step. Well, even the biggest high jumper on the planet is probably not going to be able to do that on one go. Like he's going to have to practice and take baby steps to get there. So if you are judging yourself based on, I'm trying to get to bliss from here and I've got toxic people following me around or old grudges, then what you need to do is get to a place where first you don't have old grudges, you release that stuff, then you get to a place where you can deal with toxic people, then you baby step your way up. You're not going to get to the 30th step bliss from the ground floor in one go. So it's that's part of the process. In my own journey, I am brutal when it comes to self-awareness. So my first process has been to see what the toxic people in my life are saying about my own energy and what I'm bringing to the table, because it doesn't take one to create toxic, it takes two to create toxic. So what is your participation in that toxic environment? And once you can learn from that, and then it's okay to remove yourself from that equation, and remove yourself with love. So it's not about, I think that people have this tendency to close off from toxic people without learning the lesson first. And in my own life, what I've noticed is that if I jump and leave some toxic situation without learning the lesson, then that toxic situation seems to be following me around. And other people in my life that weren't toxic before then will embody that exact same behavior. So what I'm getting from that is that will not resolve itself until I fix within me that is the participating energy in whatever that toxic thing is. So what's the lesson here for you? What's the energy that you're carrying? One of the biggest things in my own journey has been that I did not have good boundaries in my life. I didn't even know what boundaries were. And because of that, I was attracting people that were good people, but they would just be pushing my boundaries. And instead of blaming them, I had to just wake up to the fact that they're just doing what I'm allowing them to do. And when I stop participating in that allowing, then they're going to have no choice but to stop. So you have to figure out your own participation in the equation. Excuse me for 1 second. I'm gonna shut off my blinds because I think it's making the light kind of funky. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. All right, so next question. So I got a lot of questions on Instagram that weren't necessarily related to the law of attraction, and I'm trying to keep this video about that topic. So I'm going to skip over some of them, but maybe I can answer them in another video. Okay. What is the biggest lesson learned while applying the law of attraction in your life? I have so many lessons that it's hard to just pinpoint the biggest lesson. But if I had to choose one, I would say realizing that everything is energy, and if you can align with the energy of what it is that you want, you can have anything. So I would say maybe that's the biggest. Yes. Okay, so someone else asked, I am addicted to your videos, Mina. Lovely content. Thank you. The law of attraction asks to let go and have faith. How to let go without losing focus on what you want? This boggles my mind. Great question. So let me give you an example. Okay, let me explain how this works first, and then I'll give you an example. So what you like attracts like in the law of attraction. So what this actually means is that like energy and like vibration attracts like experiences and like manifestations. So when it's asking you to let go, it's asking you basically to find the vibration or the energy of what you're desiring and feel that energy now, and then let go of constantly opening the door or pulling out the plant to see, is it growing? Is it growing yet? Is it growing yet? So for example, if you want XYZ, instead of looking at XYZ all the time to see if it has appeared, find how would you feel when you achieved it. And whatever that feeling is, find that feeling in something else and focus on that feeling. And I think that one of the biggest misconceptions of the law of attraction is that people think that you have to feel good about that certain thing to manifest it. And that's not necessarily true, because if you're trying to force that feeling good about that thing and you're not there yet, you're actually going to create this kind of tug of war where part of you is going, you liar, you don't feel good about that, or, So instead of having that tug of war, find the reciprocal energy of that. So for example, receiving and giving has the same vibration energy. Love and appreciation has the same vibrational energy. So if you were wanting to attract more love, and right now all you can see is that you don't have love, it's going to feel off to pretend like you have love. So what you could do is start working on appreciation more, not necessarily about love, about anything else. You could be appreciative of the fact that you woke up this morning. You can be appreciative of the fact that you have food in your refrigerator. You can be appreciative of the fact that you have legs, right? I mean, every little thing. And now what's happened is that you're in the same vibrational field as love. And the more you do this here, which feels more natural to you, the more you will attract like vibrational things, which also includes love. So the problem with this letting go is that people are scared to let go of their dreams because they think that if they keep focused on it, then that's how to attract it. But the thing is that if you're focused on the lack of it or the fact that it hasn't showed up, that can actually hinder your results. Another example I can give of this, it helps to look at other things that aren't necessarily related to what you're talking about to be able to step away from it. So for example, you guys know I'm into gardening. So I planted this garden, right? And watching my garden grow and flourish is really exciting, right? But when I first planted everything, I had this thing because I wasn't feeling the best because everything looked like a baby and small. So there were a lot of holes in the garden. And even the lady at my local garden center was like, don't plant too much because they're going to need room to grow. But when I was looking at everything, it was like, well, but everything looks so immature right now. Everything's so little. Like, I can't wait for it to grow. But the more I was watching it, of course, the slower it seems to be growing because it's like trying to watch paint dry, right? And they're going to grow in their own time. So, what I can do is feel good about other aspects of my life, carry on my life, and water my plants, right? That's my feeling good and being happy and being living in gratitude, focusing on bliss. And then once a month I fertilize my garden, and that means that I close my eyes and envision the end goal. And lo and behold, now that I'm not watching it, when I go out, I'm like, oh wow, the rose bushes are coming up greatly. Oh my god, the banana trees have 4 new leaves, because I'm not watching it like a hawk. So the let go and while still focusing means you focus on the like vibration, but not necessarily on the lack of the fact that what you're wanting hasn't showed up yet. So I hope that that answers that question. I'll continue, but let me check in with you guys. Okay, so we're still talking about, so ladies, we're only doing questions about the law of attraction and manifestation. So all the other questions I will be ignoring today. All right. Let's go find the questions again. All right. Okay, so another question is, how do you believe in what you want when the current situation contradicts what you want? Will you actually believe it deep down? How do you believe in what you want? So there's stages of manifestation, stages of consciousness, stages to your awakening. And I think the word believe has gotten murkied up in the way that people use it. And I know I've moved past the word believe in my own journey. I used to be a big believer of the word believe, but I've moved to knowing. So having faith isn't, the definition of faith and knowing something isn't, I'll know it when I see it, or I'll have faith when I see it, right? We don't ask God to come down and show his face and then believe in him. We just believe in him blindly, right? We believe that he exists. So if you're waiting for something to show up and then you will believe it, then you will always be waiting, because it's faith and knowing is being able to feel it and live it and breathe it and act as if and sleep it and eat it before it shows up. That's faith. So what you're asking is that your current situation contradicts it. All the current situation is here to do is show you what you actually desire. So again, you go back to, okay, here's my current situation. Doesn't feel good. What's the opposite of that that would feel good? All right, here is that thing. Okay, if I have that thing, how would I feel? I would feel bliss, love, joy. All right, what is the vibrational radiance, right, of bliss, love, joy? Okay. One thing I can do right now that has the same vibration as those things is gratitude. So, what are the things that I can find gratitude in? Every little thing. So, what people don't know, I think one thing I want to say is that it's very easy to look at my life now in the aftermaths of manifestation and say, oh, it's easy for you to live in gratitude. You have all this stuff, right? But the thing is, I started living this way when I didn't have any of this. So it's gratitude isn't the result of having all this. It's because of the gratitude that everything else showed up. And what you guys may not realize, because I don't talk about this often enough, is that the things that I give gratitude for, like my 95% of my day is spent in extreme gratitude. But people don't realize this because it's happening internally, right? And the things I give gratitude for are the same things that many of you guys have. I give gratitude for my legs, my body, The fact that somehow some intelligence has kept me alive for the past 38 years. I give gratitude for the fact that my children are alive and healthy. I give gratitude for the fact that we live in times now where I can open up my refrigerator and there's food there. I give gratitude for the fact that we have electricity, right? So these are simple things. It's not like I'm sitting around giving gratitude for millions of dollars, because gratitude will just attract more things to be gratitude for. It will attract more love, like vibrations. You don't have to give gratitude for the thing that you want to get it. You just give gratitude for whatever is in your field right now, because that is what will get you the bigger things and the bigger things and the bigger things. But if you're focused on the bigger things, it defeats the whole purpose, because you're very outcome oriented and watching for that manifestation to occur to feel something, right? Let me tell you, most of the time, maybe all of the time, it's not really the thing that you want, it's the feeling behind having that thing. You can feel that feeling now. Or you can be like those really wealthy people, famous people that have everything and still don't feel the feeling. So as you can see, the feeling is more important than the actual thing, because many people, we have many examples of people that get everything and still don't feel it, right? They don't feel successful or feel worthy or feel wealthy in all senses, and so therefore they destroy their lives. So you can have the feeling without the actual manifestation coming to forth. Okay, so let me check in with you guys. What can you do if your desires, the thing you want, makes you feel guilty? For example, I've been wanting a purse in my vision board for years. I have the money to buy it, but feel guilty about the purchase. Okay, so my advice there would be, first of all, I can relate to that. I have taken that journey myself. So what I'm going to say is, forget the purse. Think of what the purse symbolizes for you. What's the feeling behind the purse? It's going to be different for different people, right? So is it going to make you feel luxurious? Is it going to make you feel fancy? Is it going to make you feel loved? And then find that feeling and start focusing on that feeling. That is when you focus on these minor manifestations, we actually miss the bigger picture, the bigger feeling behind it. Then what I've seen in my own life is, even when that thing comes, the hunger for it never dies, because the wanting, because you didn't tap into that original feeling. It wasn't an intentional desire. So when you can tap, let's say that you want the purse, because I'm just making this up, you may have a completely different reason, because it's going to make you feel like you're a woman that has like good self-care for herself, feels loved, right? Something like that. Then how can you feel that right now without buying the purse? Don't even make it about the purse. Baby step your way there. Then maybe it means that you do one nice thing for yourself every single day. Make yourself a delicious cup of coffee and go somewhere nice and have that coffee. Or take 15 minutes away from your family and meditate. So whatever that feeling is, tap into it without the purse, and it will call forth the purse to you. So you can put the picture of the purse on your vision board. I think you said you've already done it. And then just allow it to kind of unravel and call onto your existence. It's amazing how it works that way, when you don't focus on that initial thing and focus on how it's going to make you feel anyways afterwards. All right, so let me know. But if the more you feel guilty, the more you'll attract things to feel guilty about. So don't buy the purse yet, even if you have the money, because that's not attracting the feeling. That's like forcing on the feeling when you're not ready, because then you'll attract more things to feel guilty for. Let's see, were there any other questions on Facebook? This is your chance, ladies. Or guys. Okay, great question. Should I just feel the item or desire I wish to manifest and forget about it? Or should I be living in it as if I already have it throughout the day? So what the already have it means is, again, the feeling behind the item. So you should visualize and imagine what you want and how you would feel when you had it. The feeling is the thing. If your visualizations don't have feelings, then you're not going to manifest. It's the feeling is actually the big secret here to manifesting anything. So if you can feel into that, then you go about and living your life as if the feeling is already yours. So you step into it, and that is what calls that thing to you. Just trust that because you're visualizing it, the universe, your subconscious, however you want to look at it, knows what you want. And as long as you have that faith and that knowing that it is already yours, it will come to you. So what I believe is that we all have access to everything. All of us have access to everything, but the problem is most of us wait until we see it to believe that we have it. But if you can just know that it's yours, that you have access to it, and live as if you already are feeling it because you have access to it, it comes forth. So your feeling of having it is what manifests that desire for you. Okay, so next question is, how do I let go after intending? So they're all going back to the same thing. You let go by focusing on the vibrational energy of that thing and living in gratitude, not necessarily for that thing, but things, anything. Gratitude just attracts more to you, all the things that you want. So you don't have to be, for example, let's say that I want a fancy car. Well, if I'm acting as if I already have the fancy car, this doesn't mean I have to go around telling people that I have the car when I don't, because internally that's going to feel like a lie and people will think I'm delusional. Irfan says, this is one of Irfan's sayings, and I love this. He says there's a big difference between delusion and the law of attraction. And I think he's right. So that would make me sound like a crazy person because I don't have the fancy car, right? Or the whatever. That would be like if I'm walking around telling people I'm a doctor, but I'm not a doctor. So that's delusion. But the feeling that comes from having that car, I can tap into that feeling now. Maybe it would make me feel fancy or successful or like I've made it. So I can feel that now. I don't need the thing to feel that now. Now, science already has proven that when you imagine something vividly, meaning you feel into it, your brain can't tell the difference. Your brain, your body, your cells can't tell the difference between you have actually manifested it or if you're just pretending and visualizing it. So it literally prepares every molecule, DNA, gene, cell in your body to receive that item. So visualize and then act as if by giving gratitude, by being happy, by being blissful, by being and having the feeling that that thing will give you. Remember, most things don't mean much without that underlying feeling anyways. I personally know people that have everything, and they are always complaining because they miss the whole feeling part. So it's like, what's the point then, right? It's like, you're not happy. So I would say that the feeling is more important than the actual manifestation of that thing. Because you can have the thing and still not get anything out of it. Okay. Okay, great questions. We're getting some good ones. All right, so next question. How do you protect your high vibe feeling when around low vibe situations and people? So I am brutal when it comes to this, and I think that this is definitely a journey, and I think that it's going to take time for most people to get here. But I will focus on the energy of that experience and the lesson that's being projected from me first, because if I miss the lesson, I have noticed, like I said before, it will freaking keep showing up. So what do I mean by that? So my belief system is that Everything is an illusion of the mind. So all people are just one person being projected out in different flavors and different energies. So if something shows up in front of me, let's say there's a person exhibiting some low vibe behavior, my first question is, while they're doing their thing, is what in me has created this? Because that's the lesson and the growth, and I'm not going to miss the opportunity of getting that lesson and growing beyond it. And this isn't so much to fix the other person, but it's like, okay, you showed up in front of me, there must be a reason that you are showing this low vibe behavior to me. There's some growth and some healing that needs to still happen within me. There's a next layer. So I will take that lesson first. And as I take in that lesson, I will, let's say that I see it, okay? And I see that lesson and I've acknowledged that there's a part of me that also does this, maybe not quite in the same way, but some in a different way. That after that, I will internally sit there and forgive myself for it. And I will say, I'm so sorry, I love you. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me. That part of me. And as I can release that and let that go and clear that, that person's energy doesn't bother me, or I can say something to shut it down and get that person to kind of wake up. Or if that's not going to be something that I want to invest in that person because maybe they're not someone that I'm willing to invest in, maybe I just know them casually, then I just walk away from that. I just say, it was so lovely to see you today, and I'll see you again soon. Talk to you some other time. Bye. And then just kind of with love and grace, remove myself from that situation. But I don't lose the opportunity of learning that lesson. I've said this before and I will repeat this. This has happened to me many times where I didn't get the lesson and I separated myself from that person, and then other people in my life that I couldn't separate myself from started exhibiting that same behavior. So then it was like, bells ringing, going, okay, so it's not just about running away from negative things. You have to learn the lesson there first. So how am I projecting this out in my own life? All right. Okay, so someone wrote, I am skeptical about law of attraction because it makes me feel as if teaching people to be materialistic so the hunger for more never dies. It actually is the complete opposite. So the reason that you are feeling this, if all what I'm saying, if all of it is true, that we project onto our own energy and our own vibrations onto other thing, then there's a part of you that's fearful about being materialistic, and which means that there's a part of you that you have disowned that is materialistic, right? Being materialistic or not materialistic, it's a neutral thing. It doesn't by itself have any feeling until you project something onto it. Money is neutral, things are neutral. How you perceive it, is what gives it its charge. So from what I've experienced is my goal was sheer bliss and happiness. So that's what I got. Now, I don't see myself as a materialistic person, but I also see myself as a materialistic person because every quality and characteristic that exists on the planet exists within all of us. When we disown certain parts of us, there's more likely of that thing leaking out because it's in your shadow, right? This is shadow work. So this is part of the work that I do in my Sacred Feminine Intensive with people that come to my group coaching programs. So if you are a materialistic person deep down inside and you have disowned that, that's what you will keep seeing in other people until you own that. So for me, materialistic is a normal thing. Because I'm a mother, let's just say that I'm a mom, and being materialistic means having food for my kids. So what's material? Food. Because as much as I like to live in the spiritual world, there comes a time where I have to come back onto earth, being in my lower self and higher self, and say, you know what? I can give my kids all the love that I want, but eventually they're going to need to eat. And eventually they're going to need a roof over their head. And they're going to need clothes. And they're going to have tuitions for school. And they're going to need books. Like, these are material things. So I'm here to tell you, you are just as material as everyone else. But because you have disowned this part of yourself, you see other people as materialistic people. So once you can say that material is a good thing, this is material. I'm drinking my lovely pink protein shake today. This is material. It's a material manifestation, right? So there's nothing wrong with these things until we project our own limiting beliefs and shadows onto them. So so if someone came to me and was showing me something, and my first thought was, oh, this is a materialistic person, my growth there would be like, uh-oh, that means I'm materialistic. Because like Oprah says, if you spot it, you've got it. Okay, so if you spot materialism in other people, you've got it and you're disowning it. So admit it, own it, integrate it into yourself, and then you can be like, oh, sometimes I'm materialistic and sometimes I'm not, because everything that exists within me, right? You are the universe. So by that means, I would say if whatever I can spot in another person is waiting to be accepted and owned within me. All right. Okay, next question. When you started the law of attraction, how did you deal with your doubts? So the only formal training that I have had at this point with the law of attraction, and thank God, because I think that people zoom in too much on certain things and then they lose the bigger picture, has been the secret DVD. Now, I know plenty of people in very unhappy situations that have also watched the secret DVD because they did not know how to implement it. I spent years of my life watching that DVD every single week. I've just now recently stopped watching it, but there was, I think, at least a decade where every single week, meaning every year, I was watching that movie at least 52 times, if not more. And what that movie kept saying was, focus on the positive, focus on the bliss, focus on the happiness. So anytime I would have a doubt, I would focus not on that thing and not on reversing that thing. I would just focus on other things. And the simplest thing for me personally was that somehow some intelligent force has kept me alive. That means that there's something more for me to do here. So I cannot have doubt in this one thing because some intelligent force is making my heart beat, getting all my blood flowing, right? I'm having this conversation with you. My heart's still breathing. I don't have to think, or beating. I don't have to think about it. So something keeps me alive. And can I just trust that that something that keeps me alive and breathing and going knows what's best for me? And can I just trust that there's more coming, right? More bliss, more happiness, more satisfaction, more love. Because why would this intelligent force keep me living and breathing if there wasn't more to be had? Okay. Oh, I love that. Bliss equals blessed, loved, intelligent, soul supported. Oh, I love that. I've never heard that before. I love it. Okay. Okay, so someone said, stuck in a good job by most people's standards. There's the problem. You're focusing outward. However, I'm not happy or fulfilled. I can't seem to stay in a high vibration when I'm here, feeling stuck. So what you need to do is spend 15 minutes every single day. This is what I would do if I was in your situation, and this is how I solve 100% of the problems in my life. Okay, this living in bliss doesn't mean that problems don't show up. It's how you react and deal with them, right? So I spend 15 minutes meditating and I hand over that problem to the divine. You can say divine, your soul, your subconscious, God, whatever language you want to use. Give it to your higher power and say, please allow the answers to unfold. And that is it. Sometimes I will literally just think that I'm handing over the problem or finding the solution over to my angels. Sometimes I use the word God. Sometimes I use the word spirit, and just hand it over. And I'll do this consistently for 3 to 7 days. And I will notice that the solutions will start coming to me through inspired action. Inspired action versus regular action is having to force yourself to do something or convince yourself to do something or motivate yourself to do something. Inspired action is where you can't even keep yourself from doing it because it just lights you up. And in my life, that is how things unfold. Either that problem will suddenly just become a non-problem, it will go away on its own, or I will find the steps that I need to take, or the solutions will just unfold in a beautiful way through inspired action. So you need to figure out, and I think the answer to your question is in your question, that other people's standards. So what are you creating in your life? What, to me, the word work is loaded because I don't want to work. I want to create. I want to create something. I want to create bliss and joy and happiness and passion and love. So what part of that is missing from your life? And then that needs to be a part of your inspired work. What are the baby steps you mentioned? Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. I will say the word gratitude 1,000 times before step number 2 even occurs. So gratitude for baby things. Gratitude for the fact that I was born with 2 arms. I live in extreme gratitude of that because some people aren't, right? I consider this a blessing. The fact that I have my hair. Like my hair is healthy. There was a period in my time where I was drastically losing hair. I wasn't healthy. Oh my God, I have a full head of hair and I'm not losing hair anymore. Thank you so much, right? Gratitude for the fact that I woke up this morning. So gratitude 1,000 times. And then step number 2 is to visualize living in the end. Living in the end means visualize as if you already have that thing and feel into that feeling. Many times what I found is that when I'm desiring something and I visualize it, and I don't visualize even often, I mean, very rarely. I'm in that point in my journey now where it's like the last stage of consciousness or manifesting where you kind of hand over yourself to the divine and it's like, okay, bring it on. Like I'm just going to live in 95% of my days living in gratitude and I will see what you are calling me towards versus actually having goals and desires. Which in the beginning I thought that was weird, but I've learned now that that's a normal state in your progression in your journey. So stage 2 or step 2 would be to visualize it. What I've personally found is many times I used to have a desire come up, and when I would visualize it, I would figure out that I already had, like literally already had that thing. Because in my visualization, I couldn't go to the future. I kept going to the examples where I already had it. So it's almost like my spirit was saying, come back here. You're trying to get something there, but you already have it. Look, here's an example, here's an example, here's an example, here's an example. I'm like, oh, well, okay. I guess that makes acting as if easy because I already have it in 10 other ways and I was missing it. So this is a key step to the process. Okay, let me see if there was anything else on. There was one question in particular on Facebook that I really wanted to address because I think she's breaking all of the rules of my manifesting magic in this one question right here. Okay, so the question is, I'll say the whole thing first and then I'll break it down. So she asked, my friend's husband was laid off work. Now they both are seeking jobs actively. The first thing my friend did after she found out that her husband was laid off was do his laundry of his work clothes and arrange them neatly back in his closet, with the belief that he will be going back to work soon and will need those clothes. What advice would you give them so that they are able to manifest the jobs of their dreams again? Okay, so you are breaking every single law of attraction rule in my book, in my personal book. For I don't even know how to unpack this without like, okay, so take this with love. You meddling yourself in your friends husband being laid off and them actively looking in job is basically infecting yourself with that vibration that got them in their situation. First of all, you never really know what's happening internally and how that thing is coming forth from them. And in fact, you could be hurting your friend by infecting them with your negative viewpoints about someone losing their job. Sometimes losing your job is the best thing that can freaking happen to you and is exactly what you have been desiring. So for example, let's say that your friend or her husband has been desiring a closer connection with each other, and somehow the universe put that in manifestation by making them both jobless for this period of time and some magic is supposed to happen. But now you've butted in their business trying to fix their situation and help them out. So the only way you can actually help someone is by focusing on your own desires and your own manifestations and staying in high vibration yourself. The fact that you're asking this question, you're infecting them with your own limiting beliefs and your own low vibrations, and they are infecting you. So you're both taking each other down. Like seriously. So one of the biggest things with the law of attraction is butt out of other people's business. Let their own manifestation happen. And thank God we cannot manifest for other people. Thank God. Because let me tell you, what if my mother had thought that, what is this YouTube thing Mina is doing? That's crazy. Let me try to just manifest that she gets a nice 9-to-5 job. I would have killed myself. I hate 9-to-5 jobs, right? Or what if my partner was like, oh, I hate that women hates, I hate that Mina helps all these women. It takes time away from me. Let me just sit over here and manifest that her whole business collapses and that she can no longer help people so I can have her all to myself. Thank God that other people cannot manifest for us because we don't know what other people want, and you don't know what's happening within the other person. You just can't, even from what they're saying. Let me give you a great example of this. So like I've said, I spend 95% of my day literally living in extreme gratitude. I will walk through my house and just be like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Oh, thank God I have this. Or my children, oh, I will look at my arms and just, or my hands and my arms and be like, oh my God, I was born with 2 arms. Thank you so much. Right? Little things, big things, everything just makes me full of sheer bliss. And let me tell you how other people can't necessarily see this. So I was having lunch with my friend the other day, and I had this question in my head. So I was like, oh, let me ask her opinion about this. So I asked my friend this question, and her response was like, oh my God, stop worrying. You're such a worry war. You always worry. Why are you so worried about that? And I was just kind of taken aback because I'm not a worrywart. I don't worry at all, in fact. 95%, like I said, of my entire day is full of extreme gratitude. And so I was kind of taken aback by that, right? And so my thing was, okay, she's projecting this out to me because based on this one question that I've ever asked her. So I was having this discussion with my husband, and he's like, it makes sense because she's not in your head. She doesn't see you on a daily basis. She doesn't know what a person of faith you are, that you have this, extreme living situation of just being in gratitude all the time. She is basing you on these occasional lunches that you have. And in that occasional lunch, if you're not spending the entire time going, oh, thank you for my bread, thank you for the water, thank you for this, thank you for that, that's happening internally. The one question that comes out of your mouth, that's all she's judging you based off of. So why am I relating that to this question? You don't know what's happening with your friend. Leave her alone. Let her figure it out. You focus on what you need to do. Even if she comes to you and asks for advice, all you can say is that, I'm sure you will figure it out. I have full faith that the universe will deliver, or you can use the word God if she's a woman of God, whatever you need to say to make her feel good, and you keep the focus on yourself and your own manifesting. Thank God we cannot manifest for other people because other people don't want that. However, let me say that if this was you, see now what you've done is that now you've infected yourself, because I'm going to treat this question as if your husband was laid off, right? So you see how you brought it into your own vibration by murking your energy up. So if this was you and you needed to ask the question that what advice would you give them so that they are able to manifest the jobs of their dreams? So what does the job signify for you? Does it signify security? Does it signify financial freedom? Does it signify being able to provide for your family? All right, well, take those feelings and how can you find examples of that already happening in your life in other places? Because those feelings have strong vibrations, and if you can tap into those in other areas without a shadow of a doubt, because you already have them in other areas, and give gratitude for them, that job will manifest in itself. And it may not be a job, it may be a business, it may be some amazing opportunity, it may be some other thing. But by focusing on that thing, you're actually focused on the lack of it, because everything that you want, there's an also reciprocal. When you want it, you're saying I don't have it, right? So if you can desire it and see what that underlying feeling of it is and live in that feeling now. All right, let me see if there's any other things. Okay, I'm gonna go on Instagram real quick and see if anyone posted something there. Okay. Instagram is kind of hard to read on desktop. Okay. All right, we're good there. You guys have any other questions coming up here? You're so right. This is so true. Losing my job has opened my eyes to a new world. Yes. So celebrate and have faith that something bigger and better is coming for you. Is prayer part of the law of attraction? Gratefulness is part of it, but what about faith? Is it the same thing? Gratefulness, so gratitude is, I think all of it is relating. So let's unpack prayer first. The problem with prayer is that most people pray by focusing on what they don't have and therefore what they want. But the way that participants of the law of attraction pray, and this is the correct way of prayer, actually, the lost way of prayer, is they pray as giving thankfulness for the end goal. So if I hear that someone's ill, I don't pray by saying, God, please take their illness away. I don't want to lose this person. Please make them well. Please end their suffering. Because that's just focusing and creating more of that. What I will imagine is remember, you can't really manifest for someone else, but you can imagine and send prayer actually, and heart-centered energy, scientifically proven, has been shown to help other people and infect them with good vibes and good energy. So the way to do it is not by focusing on their illness. The way I pray for someone is close my eyes and imagine them being well. I imagine taking trips with them. I imagine going on vacation with them, right? Or I said that already. I imagine going on lunch dates or hiking trips, doing things where they are showing health and radiance, because that's the opposite of the situation that they are in right now. And that's what I'm wanting to, inspire them to through my own prayer. Same thing for me. So when I pray for something, I end up actually just giving gratitude, extreme gratitude. And visualization is the same thing as prayer then, because you're thanking for the end goal, envisioning the end goal. What was that next part of it? Faith is, law of attraction is, the entire thing is faith-based. The entire thing is, it's this knowing, right? But sometimes I find that the people that say they are the most people of faith, they're the people of God, often have the least amount of faith, because they have all these doubts, they have all these fears. And one of the things you've heard me say is that you can either have faith or have fear and worry, because those two things are completely different vibrations and cannot exist in the same person at the same time. So anytime you have experienced fear, you have faith that you will move past it. You can experience fear and still move past it and do the thing of faith, that deep knowing and that deep believing, right? Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us, Mina. You're always welcome. I'm buying the items to make a dream board with my 10-year-old daughter today after school. Any tips? Yes, if this is a board for your 10-year-old daughter, let her do it. Oftentimes, kids are more aligned to connected with source, connected with spirit, connected with God than we are. And what I have found is that parents will often infect their children with their limiting beliefs for them. So go and get the things for her, but do not help her in this. Let her do it. If she wants to put unicorns and rainbows on there, let her put unicorns on rainbow, because remember, unicorns and rainbow might have the same vibrational field for something that she can desire that may be what you consider more valid and realistic. So that would be my only tip, is let her do it. Just help her cut the stuff out if you need to do that kind of stuff. Sit with her, but do not put your own limiting beliefs. Like, even if you tell her, well, Molly, you can't really be a unicorn when you grow up. Let her believe she's going to be a unicorn, because that actually may get her closer to vibrationally feeling what she really is designed to do and sent here to do than anything that you can infect her with. Hi, Monica. It's so nice to see you. All right, ladies. You're welcome, Jenny. I will see if you guys have any other questions on any of my other social media. Otherwise, I will let you go. If you want to learn more, I've got 2 spots left on my Fire, Flow, and Feminine Flavors Intensive in Florida. Join me there. This is the kind of work that we will be doing from the inside out, so that you don't have to ask these questions. They come from within you, from your own source, from your own deep knowing. I hate navigating. Okay, let me see. I'm just not good with Instagram. Instagram is not my jam. Okay. I had so many questions that had nothing to do with the law of attraction. All right, let me check on Facebook. Where's my group? Okay. Okay, I think we're good there. I'm getting something here. How do you stay in high vibes always? I'm trying to stay in high vibe, not participating. I stay in high vibe by being in gratitude. The vibration, the high vibe can seem kind of like this elusive thing that I don't know how to get myself to, but there's different degrees, right? So you baby step it. So for example, if you're depressed, that you're not going to be able to get to depressed, from depressed to bliss. You're going to have to go from depressed to feeling hopeful, right? Then feeling courage, and then feeling blah, 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 right? All the way to the top. So the easiest hack for this is whatever you have right now, give gratitude for that. Now, people will sometimes say to me, but I don't have anything. You are breathing. You have your breath. That is something. Some people don't have that. Lots of people don't have that. They would have given anything to be able to live. They don't have that. You are still breathing. So that is something to give gratitude for. So spend your entire day being grateful for the fact that you are still breathing. And then maybe you'll discover something else to be thankful for tomorrow. The fact that I'm still breathing and I have 2 legs. That is something to be grateful for. And I'm not like joking. Like, this is literally the kind of stuff that I give gratitude for. People think it's like some big stuff that you have to be grateful for. The energy, the ease and grace that the universe or God or divine, whatever you want to say, right? Whatever your chosen words are, words mean nothing. It's the feeling and the energy. Whatever higher power words that you choose, that power is so infinite and has access with ease to anything that you desire. But the vibration of something small to the vibration of something big is the same. It grows with the same ease. It manifests with the same ease. So if you think that you have to give gratitude for something big to attract something big, this is not true. You can give gratitude for the smallest things and attract the biggest things, right? But really feel into the gratitude. If you're saying, I'm going to be grateful for my computer today so that I can achieve a mansion, then you're not really in gratitude. You have this outcome focus. You're trying to make a transaction or a deal with the universe. You're trying to make a deal with God. Well, you're a person, like, God doesn't need to negotiate with you, right? There's laws of the universe that you need to follow. So Can you really feel into the gratitude for what you have right now, even if it's just your breath, and focus on that? Sincere gratitude, absolutely. All right. Are you supposed to imagine in first person? There's no supposed to. The only, okay, maybe there is a supposed to. The only rule here is that whatever you're imagining invokes a feeling in you. If you're imagining something and detached from it, meaning there's nothing happening in your body, there's nothing moving, there's no emotions or feelings coming up, then you're not really imagining it. It's not happening. Like, it's not invoking anything. So that means that it's a wasted visualization. Maybe you're enjoying it, but nothing will manifest out of that. So the only thing to remember is the feeling behind it, the actual feeling behind it. Thank you so much for your insight. I have missed this so much and I enjoy your energy and wisdom. I'm so glad. Thank you so much. How do you avoid triggers to lower your vibration? So as I said before, Gia, triggers are happening from within, not from outside. So if a trigger is happening, and I quoted Oprah has been quoted as saying, if you can spot it, you've got it. So if something is triggering you, it wants to be integrated back into you. It's something that a part of you that's you've denied, a part of you that needs to be released, a part of you that needs to be forgiven. So what I've noticed is that if I avoid that trigger, it keeps showing up. It keeps showing up. It starts stalking me, literally. So the best thing that I have found to do is to accept that trigger and use that as part of my healing. And so everything that I am the fact that you guys are here and discussing this with me right now is a manifestation of my brain. I imagined this. It's all an illusion. I can turn it off. I can turn it on. I can go neutral with it. So if something you say triggers me, there's something within me that still needs to be healed. How can I heal that? If I avoid it, as I said before, I've noticed that then 10 people start triggering me with the same thing. So it's best to learn that there's something within me that's wanting attention, wanting love, wanting forgiveness, wanting release, wanting something. And once I can kind of deal with that, then I've put it to rest and that trigger won't show up. Maybe a different one might, and then gives me another opportunity. So you choose the triggers as if you chose them to learn from them. So the triggers, you're not resisting them, you're accepting them. It's like thanks for this opportunity to learn and grow. So true, there's always something to be grateful for. Always, always. How to change the negative emotional energies my kids have in the morning before school because their dad is withdrawn and emotionally drains us. How do I not let this seep into us and ruin our day? So the belief system I have is you have a story here. So my belief system says we are creating every single part of reality. So you are creating this in your partner and in your children. And I know this is hard to hear from a lot of people, but this is what got me here. So this is my belief system. You can look at it as like, woe is me, I created this. Or you can say, okay, if I created this fire, I can also put it out, right? So how can you shift your own energy? So leave their dad out of it. When you wake up, not trying to fix your kids, not trying to fix your husband, can you be in vibrational alignment to what you are wanting in the morning? Do you want more happiness? Do you want more peace? Do you want more ease and grace? Okay, so maybe when you wake up, you put on some meditation music or you put on some happy dancing music, and as your kids are brushing their teeth and you're making breakfast, maybe you're dancing to some music, and you can drown out whatever else is happening, right? And allow your children to be as they are, and you vibrate the love and energy of ease and grace or whatever it is that you're desiring for the morning, without focusing on your story of this is happening to them because of their dad and this and that, because you cannot control your children or your husband. Your husband. You cannot control anyone. You can only align with what you are wanting. So don't figure out trying to change him or them. Just figure out how can I tap into that energy that I'm wanting in the morning. Okay. Mina, can you recommend books to stay in alignment with higher self? Um, to be honest with you, one of the biggest things that's helped me up with the law of attraction is not studying it any further than the secret DVD. And here's why. What I've seen is, and I didn't even know this was an accidental finding in my way. I was having a conversation with my friend the other day, and she was like, "Can you recommend the books that you read to learn about law of attraction?" And I kept talking about the secret DVD, and she's like, "No, no, no, beyond that. I know you already mentioned that, beyond that." And I couldn't think of anything. And then she goes, "Oh, I feel like you don't want to share with me." And I'm like, "No, I actually, it's weird because I am so much into reading and personal development, but strangely enough, I never tried to learn more about the law of attraction or the secret beyond that DVD. I only focused on that DVD. And if you look at my life, that one thing has been the most successful thing in my life, and it's changed everything else. And I mean, it became the foundation and pillar of everything that I have and manifested in my existence, right? And here's why. Let me relate that to something else. Um, Recently, I've learned that when I mention a word on YouTube or in one of my programs, what people will do is they will go and they will, for example, let me give you an example. So, in one of my programs, I had a session on chakras. And what a student did is she went and she got so zoomed in and dived in deep on chakras that the rest of her life started falling apart. And I'll give you another example. This other girl that I know that follows my channel heard me once mention Tony Robbins. So now she's like attending all of his events and reading all of her books, all of his books, but it's like nothing is aligning or working out, and other areas of her life are kind of falling apart. What's the one thing that you've noticed about me in my 7, 8 years on YouTube? That I don't just talk about one thing. People want me to focus on one thing, but I have worked very hard to align and learn about very many different areas of my life. Because when you zoom in too much, you become the frog in the well that can't see anything else. Because you get so you often hear me saying zoom out and then zoom in. Sometimes in life you need to zoom in on one topic, learn about it, and practice it. But when you zoom in so much that you can't see anything else, you become drowning in it and you can't learn. You're getting more information, but you're not applying it. It's kind of like escaping you, it's overwhelming you, and it's not adding any value in your life. So what my recommendation would be is find two things on each topic that you want to do. And instead of reading and getting hungry for all this more information, take that information that you got from one or two sources and start applying it. Apply it, make it your own, mold it, experiment with it, learn with it, fall with it, grow with it, expand with it, explode with it. Maybe you'll fall again. But use that instead of this thing of like zooming in way too much. So recently I had this idea that, oh my God, this is so funny. I've never studied the law of attraction beyond the secret DVD. There's people I know that are like extreme experts in it, but here's what I found. The people that are experts in the law of attraction, some people, let's just say they're experts because they've read every book on the topic, or actual experts, they don't have perfect alignment in everything. When I look at my own life and where I am, I'm like, okay, I don't want their lives to murky mine. No, thank you. I don't want to learn. I just want to just keep doing what I'm doing. So the reason I'm sharing this is that sometimes being an expert or something or zooming in too much actually hinders your results. You remember how I started this video in the beginning? I said knowing something and applying it and teaching it are two different skill sets. Some people miss the applying it and they just start learning it and studying it and become an expert in it, but then they can't see beyond it and they can't apply it, and then they become defending it and then they get so caught up in it. So take everything you learn lightly, play with it, create art with it, have fun with it, dance with it, mold it. This is supposed to be a fun process. It's not about getting a PhD. So unfortunately, I don't have too much. Okay, I'm going to block someone because they keep posting the same thing. Okay. I sincerely needed that. Thank you so much. I'm so glad. How to develop concentration of mind? I'm not exactly sure about that question. But you concentrate. Are you asking me how to develop focus? I'm not sure what that really means. Okay. Well, all right, ladies, I will let you guys go. Thank you so much for celebrating. We got 34,000 subscribers, and we will maybe get to 35 really quickly and do another live stream like this, sharing and answering questions. Thank you so much for coming to play with me.